Dr. Lauren Wright with us now, political scientist and lecturer at Princeton University. All in all, would you consider this trip a success, and how is it perceived in the eyes of the American public with the deals and the talks about Iran and Russia and Ukraine and the Middle East as a whole?
I would consider it a success. The president was extremely visible, got a ton of news coverage, and that was really positive. And economic deals can absolutely lead to diplomacy, but that is the leftover question mark, Marni, is does the economic partnership translate into diplomatic measures the US really wants and needs that would contribute to stability in the Middle East? Does Saudi Arabia eventually join the Abraham Accords? Does this trip make Iran feel even more of the maximum pressure campaign Trump has said he's putting on the country by showing some very friendly relationships and potential alliances between the US and these countries?
Right. So does that push Iran further into a corner to do something as there are great concerns about their nuclear capability and desires?
I mean, so the reason this is a very interesting deal for Trump is all the reporting indicates there aren't that many moving parts with any sort of Iranian nuclear deal. You have economic sanctions and some sort of guarantee to lift them in exchange for a promise that they won't enrich any more uranium. Now, ironically, that's the basic framework Obama put into place that Trump has criticized. And so I'm not sure, and perhaps we'll leave it up to other foreign policy experts to weigh in on this, what there is outstanding beyond those two major pillars. There's not a lot of moving room.
The other thing the president would like to see happen is an end to the fighting in Ukraine. Do we anticipate a sit down between President Trump and President Putin? And how significant is it if Ukraine and Zelensky are not part of that meeting?
I do expect a sit down. I agree with the Secretary of State that that absolutely needs to happen. But I think the president is relearning an important lesson, which is that Putin is not trustworthy. And so, yes, I think he's extremely motivated to get to the meeting. It was a key campaign promise to end the war. But again, you're dealing with a leader that is not at all reliable. And Trump approaches many of these from a personality standpoint. And he does need to get in the room in order to end the war. But it's a very hard meeting to set up, just logistically, security wise, and with big personalities.
I want to ask you about the investments made during this trip. I mean, we're talking billions upon billions of dollars. What is the long-term implication of the deals that the president was able to pull together before his trip back home?
It's, in my mind, a normalization further of the US with some of these Middle Eastern countries. And that certainly does put more pressure on Iran. And it does indirectly signal that we're working on keeping our ally Israel safe. And so there are a lot of, I think, really important ripple effects. And we'll see if they actually come to the fore, come into reality. I think all of the Americans watching want that to be the case, but these are long-term deals.
Is there and should there be a level of skepticism about some of the deals and who the president is making deals with?
Of course, I think those questions are extremely reasonable. The gifted plane, for instance, is a huge security question mark at best and a security risk, according to anyone who's thought about it, even incidentally. And so, yes, these need to be looked at, and every player sort of needs to follow the Ronald Reagan guidance of trust but verify. Every single one of these deals should be looked at skeptically.
Indeed. All right, Lauren Wright, thanks as always. Enjoy the weekend. Nice to see you.
Thank you.
Okay, powerful